Welcome back to the Knock-On Effect, the rugby show where we say what the pundits won't. The first match of the Champions Cup semi-finals is in the bag, and what a match it was. Sam Prendergast versus Finn Smith, Josh Vanderfleer versus Henry Pollock, James Lowe versus Tommy Freeman, so many big battles around the park. In today's video, we're going to look at these matchups. We'll give our thoughts and a reaction to the result, and answer the question, should we have all been supporting Leinster here? Let's get stuck in. Fuck me, what a game of rugby that was. It was a match for the neutrals though. If I was a fan of either of those sides, I'd have had my heart in my mouth. First off, Northampton take a bow. I thought they dealt with everything fantastically. The Champions Cup semi-finals is a big occasion, and Northampton's pedigree in the competition stood to them here. They came out with a swagger and showed Leinster that they belonged there. Leinster, hard luck. In a game of fine margins, they showed great resilience to fight their way back towards the end, but the reality is they let Northampton in too easy and too often in the first 40 minutes. No shame in their performance, and as bitter as the result is to swallow, they can hold their heads high. Now, a really interesting dynamic from this match is the different battles that we saw around the park. Undoubtedly, Andy Farrell would have had a close eye on this one, with the Lions selections right around the corner. First matchup was Sam Prendergast versus Finn Smith. This was a close one. Both young fly halves looking to showcase their talents on the big stage. I've watched a lot of Sam Prendergast this year, and this was a pretty average performance from him. His link-up play with ball in hand was good. In large, he kept the Leinster attack purring. His clearances are impressive. He really does get some distance on his kicks. As for his creative kicks, there wasn't many. I don't know if he was a bit gun-shy in the moment, but he took few risks. He was okay off the tee, but defensively, he looked like a fish out of water at times. It's going to take some time for him to acclimate to the physicality of this level of rugby. As for Finn Smith, I thought he dictated the play fantastically. He was much more daring with his creativity and wasn't afraid to test the Leinster defence. He put in a really solid and confident performance here. I think if I was Andy Farrell looking at this one, I'd give the edge to Finn Smith. Next up was James Lowe versus Tommy Freeman. Two immensely different players and two very different performances. James Lowe showed his class with the boot again. Having the option of his big left boot for exits is seriously underrated. He's a cool head when everyone's running towards the try line, and 9 times out of 10 he will choose the correct option. Tommy Freeman, on the other hand, what a fucking performance. I think Lowe has the edge on him when it comes to his kicking game, but Freeman is one of the most in-form wingers in the Northern Hemisphere. Electric turn of pace, and much like the other Saints young guns, he takes everything in his stride. 3 tries in a Champions Cup semi-final? It's unheard of. Take a bow. Finally, Josh Vanderfleer versus Henry Pollock. I heard one of the big podcasts discussing the battle for Lions selection recently. I didn't realise that Vanderfleer has never toured with the Lions. I heard this and I thought he has to go. He's the better 7 anyway. Pollock is having a good season, but Vanderfleer has a wealth of experience and he's having a great season too. Then Henry Pollock came to the Aviva and put in what can only be described as one of the performances of the season. He epitomises what a 7 should be. Full of energy, an utter nuisance at the breakdown, and what about his try? He left poor Sam in the dust. Vanderfleer had a solid game, but when it mattered most, Pollock stood up. And I think this point exactly sums up this whole Leinster curse thing. You can say the same thing about Ireland in the quarterfinals in a World Cup. Just too often, too many times, there's too many of the big players, the leaders in the team. They just didn't perform to the best of their ability. Which brings us to the question, should we all have been supporting Leinster here? Fuck no. Let me explain. As a Munster fan, I hear a lot of this anti-Leinster narrative going around. It certainly exists. The way I feel about it, I don't really care. And the vast majority of supporters are the same. I'm not going to actively cheer on my biggest rivals, but I certainly don't wish they'd lose. I'm pretty neutral. In no other sport would this even be an issue, but it's this whole over-exaggeration of this values of the sport that we keep hearing. Demanding that your biggest rivals support you is nonsense. There is plenty of Munster fans who would have supported Leinster, plenty like myself who are neutral, and plenty who just love to hate them. It's the nature of the beast. Leinster put in one hell of a fight, but it wasn't to be. Northampton move on to the finals, and deservedly so. As for the Lions selection, I think a lot of the English boys lay down a big marker here, but we'll be covering that when the time comes. Be sure and hit like and subscribe so you don't miss a beat. And as always, cheers for watching, catch you at the next one.